Hello there my friends, it's Ebird Online and I'm back with another review, and today I'm going to be looking at the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 10 Episode 7, Santa Denise. Very quickly before we begin, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Come on, make Ebird a very happy Ebird. And also, don't forget to hit the like button. And at the end of today's video, I'm going to be discussing who exactly has a vested interest in making sure the bullying of Denise is maintained. And I think it's between Erika, Kyle and Lisa Rinna, so I'm going to be discussing the potential motives of all of those three ladies at the end of the video, so stay tuned and I would love to know what your thoughts are in comments. And so we begin the review this week with what else? A lie from Kyle. And we know when Kyle's lying because she's opening her mouth and words are coming out. And as you know, the ladies are all going to Santa Barbara today on a girls' trip, and Kyle tells us, when I invited everybody there was not so much tension in the group. Yes there was, Kyle, because I personally remember thinking, oh dear, this is going to be a shit show because there's so much tension in the group. And all of the girls congregate at Kyle's house before they leave, except for Denise. Denise is coming late because she's busy working on a soap opera, as well she might. When they arrive at Santa Barbara, they put their bags into their accommodation and they decide to go for rides on quadricycles. And obviously you have to ride these in pairs, and Erika's paired up with Kyle. And Erika looked over at Teddi, who was powering away, and she said, oh my god, why does everything in this group have to be a competition? Erika, are you okay? I'm seriously asking, are you okay? This is the woman who tries to outdress the rest of the group at every single opportunity. Erika, you spend hours and hours in glam so that you can outdress the rest of the group. Teddi does not. So come on now, let Teddi win her bike ride. That's all she wants. Or should I say, that's all she's got. And then they decide to go and have a drink. Well, I guess it's what they do best. And they go to a riverboat. And as they sit having a glass of wine, talk turns of course to Denise, who's yet to come, and threesomes, and her children. And Kyle wonders once more, shall I bring it up again? Shall I mention it again? It's very clear to me that they've all made a decision that they're definitely going to talk about it on this trip. And poor Denise is walking into yet another trap. And as they're debating whether to bring it up again or not, Erika out of nowhere says, Denise and Aaron had a hooker over at Thanksgiving. Erika, you are what's known as a shitmouth. And to me guys, that was a low down dirty move. You've obviously been told something in confidence and you decide, I know, I'll take it to Bravo. Erika, I thought it before and I gave you a bly. You have no morals. None whatsoever. And as they're all sitting there gossiping about Denise, she walks in and she said, hi guys. And they didn't greet her properly at all. They all sat there quite stony faced and gave a meek hi. So she sat down and they were chit-chatting about days of their lives. But it would seem the conversation was far too tame for Kyle, and she said, oh my god, this is boring Denise. Where's Tequila Denise? That's the Denise I want. Kyle, at least there is an exciting version of Denise, unlike yourself. And then they go off for dinner. And they've got a private chef back at the house. And as they sit down to eat, talk turns once again to threesomes when Lisa Rinna from nowhere just says, what's it like shooting a threesome? To Denise. And she's basically referring to a movie that Denise did, I think, in 1997, so almost 25 years ago. You've known her for quite some time, Lisa. Have you never considered asking in the intervening 23 years? But Denise is really nice and she talks them through it, and she said it was really difficult and it was strange having so many people on set. And then she also said when it came to the premiere, her parents left just before that scene. And by this point, it's getting hella uncomfortable watching all of the girls just basically bully Denise. And the reason? Just because Denise didn't want them to talk about threesomes in front of her kids. And once again, we go round and round the old argument, and every single girl is attacking Denise, more or less saying, you do one thing and you say another. And in the end, Denise had had enough and she said to Erika, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I've said what I've said, that's it. And there was a really uncomfortable atmosphere at the table. And one by one, the girls all decided, yeah, it's 10 p.m. It's time for bed. And they all went to bed. Of course, Kyle's sleeping with Teddi. And before they go to sleep, they lay on the bed and they're chit-chatting about the night's events. And Teddi says, Denise has brought this up multiple times, so she's not okay with everything. And for her to shut down Erika Jane like that, wow. She was bored of going round and round in circles, and we're bored of watching it. This is definitely bullying in the workplace, and I would absolutely love Bravo to try and sue Denise for refusing to film for the rest of the season. You're bullying her at work. No court in the land would allow that as an environment in which she should work. So the next morning at breakfast, the girls get into it again, and they sit eating their food, drinking super strong coffee made by Lisa Rinna. And after 2 or 3 cups of her strong coffee, Lisa Rinna decides, if anybody has anything to say, let's get it out on the table now, let's move past it. Lisa, I don't know if you understand how arguments work, and I don't know if you understand how hurtful statements work, but you very rarely just get over them. So Erika's upset with Kyle because Kyle said, you don't have any good friends. Kinda true. She does seem to pay for an awful lot of people to be around her. And Kyle said, I only said it because I was feeling attacked. No, you didn't, Kyle. You said it because you meant it. You haven't said it to anybody else. Only Erika, for whom it is slightly true. Dorit said to Kyle, you upset me when you said that Erika's not as good of a friend to me as I think she is. That really hurt my feelings. Again with the same defence, Kyle said, but everybody was coming at me. Kyle, that tends to happen when you call everybody fake ass bitches. And Denise was upset about the ice sculpture, and Kyle calling her fake, and Kyle more or less stood by that and said, well, you're a different Denise to the one I knew before. And then Teddi said that she was upset with Erika and Dorit because she thinks she gets dragged into their problems with Kyle. No, Dorit, what they're saying is, if they argue with Kyle, you jump in, you're a package deal, and by you piping up just now, just when Kyle's getting it, is exactly what they mean. But of course they save the best for Denise, and they go over one final time this whole threesome thing. And Lisa Rinna in really strong terms says, you have to just own it. You cannot be a hypocrite. And then she said, do your daughters know about all the prostitutes that Charlie brings around? With all due respect, none of us is responsible for another human being's movements and choices. Denise can do nothing about Charlie and his girls. And you can see that the whole table is shocked by this sudden turn from Lisa Rinna. And I'd like to invite all my subscribers to take a look at themselves and their sex lives and think, do you tell your children what you do in bed? Do you tell your parents? No, you don't. The only reason we know anything about these girls' sex lives is because they're famous, and certain situations have been made public. And Lisa Rinna feels that her friend of 20 years is being contradictory. And in the confessional, Denise looks absolutely heartbroken, and she says, I don't know why Lisa Rinna would do this to me. I really just don't understand. And that's where we leave it for this week. So what does the Ebird make from all of this? Well, I have worked out that it's one of 3 people that is pushing this narrative against Denise. It's either Kyle, Lisa Rinna, or it's Erika. So let's look at Erika first. It's my belief that Erika actually does feel aggrieved with Denise, genuinely, and I think it's because she was the one very loudly talking about having threesomes, and she feels as if she's in the firing line and she's the reason why Denise won't bring her kids around them again. And just as a side point, I think if everybody had said, Denise, we're so sorry, we definitely won't do it again, unequivocally, Denise would happily bring her kids around again. Erika's also being willfully stupid because she keeps saying her daughter's 15. If she hasn't had a threesome, she knows what they are. Yes, and there's another daughter who's 11. But of course Erika's choosing to pretend that she's forgotten she was even there. Also, I think Erika's character is such that if she has a problem with somebody, she'll stonewall that person all on her own. I don't think she needs to walk with a crowd to get her point across. And this brings us neatly to Kyle. I think Kyle definitely has a vested interest of keeping all the focus onto Denise because Kyle in the last few weeks has said awful things to all of her castmates. She's been accused by Garcelle of being dismissive, and she was quite nasty to Dorit when she was late for Teddi's event, and she went on and tried to whip everyone up into a frenzy. Teddi couldn't have cared less, but by the time Kyle had finished, Teddi was wound up as well. She's also had a go at Erika Jane, and she walked out of a party calling everyone fake ass bitches. So it suits her down to the ground that we keep the threesome story front and centre. Also, and this is just a loose theory, there might be some jealousy there because as we know, Kyle's always gone to great pains to prove, I'm an actress, that's what I do, I act. And here in her midst is an actual actress who's been working solidly for the last 25 years. And that's got to work, Kyle, just a little bit. And last and certainly not least, Lisa Rinna. Now Lisa Rinna is very good friends with Denise and has been for a long time, but she's always consistently throwing her under the bus. And I always had this feeling that Lisa was driving this narrative and Lisa was galvanising the girls on the phone behind producers' backs. about this thing, but I couldn't quite put my finger on why. And I think finally this week I found it. Lisa was talking about her daughters reading her sex book, and in this book it says, How to Give a Perfect BJ. And when they were in Japan, her daughter said, yeah, we read it at the age of 11. And so bearing all of that in mind, I think that she sees Denise's stance on this whole thing as an actual criticism of her and her parenting skills. She's more or less saying, the kids will learn everything that you've done anyway. And as we know, Lisa Rinna's been in Playboy, etc, etc. And Lisa Rinna perhaps feels that Denise is calling her parenting skills into question. And another possible motive for Lisa Rinna keeping this going is perhaps because there are issues between her and her husband. Do they live together? What's the nature of their relationship? And maybe she just wants to keep the focus 100% off her and her family. And this is a great way to do it. And I'm of the belief that it was Lisa Rinna last season that was yanking Kyle and Teddy's and everybody's chain against Lisa Vanderpump. But I understood it to a point because I do believe that Lisa Vanderpump did stitch her up regarding Yolanda Hadid, stroke, Foster, whatever, and the whole Lyme disease debacle. So I understood why she might want Lisa out of the way, and she knew that Lisa Vanderpump was omnipotent. So I kind of understood her reasons, but I'm struggling to put it together as to what her reasons are against Denise. So the only thing I can really come up with is she wants to keep the spotlight off herself, or she feels targeted by Denise about her own parenting skills. So guys, let me know what you think in comments down below. Who do you think is pushing this narrative and keeping it going? And who do you think benefits or gains from this? Please put any thoughts you have in comments down below, and I do try and read every single comment that comes in. And so it just leaves for me to say, if you haven't done so already, please click that red button and subscribe to my channel for regular updates. Make the Ebird a very happy Ebird, and I will see you very soon with another review. You've been listening to Ebird Online. Ciao for now.